Good morning. Good morning, wherever you are in America. Thank you very much. Good morning, wherever you are in Europe. I think, yes, they are still in the morning in Ukraine, in Russia. Good morning. Good morning, wherever you are. Those watching us from those places, thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa TV. Good afternoon in Africa, and most parts of Africa is already afternoon. I think so, yes. All of them in Africa are already in the afternoon session, going towards sunset. Well, so many things have happened, and we are here today to look through some of the things that have made headlines across since we left you on Friday. Today, in this show, the Africa Showdown, we shall put it 3 categories. Kenya first, second, Africa, third, the world at large. And that's how we shall be breaking down our Sunday show. On the Sunday show today, we have Kenya, the grand making, and a good morning in America again. Good morning again in Ukraine, those who have survived the attack. But in Kenya, before I go further to talk about the topics, let me introduce my co-host. I should have begun. I think we are just getting back to the normal. I should have begun by saying we are here together in our new studio, together with Miriam Ogutu, our senior anchor, senior editor, senior presenter. Good afternoon. I forgot.
You need to come to the afternoon. You seem to be in the morning.
Yes, in the morning I'm thinking. I'm thinking about where Ruto is going. It's morning.
Okay, so good afternoon. Now
Yes.
It was about 2:15 p.m. here in Nairobi. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in today.
Thank you very much, viewers across the world. Thank you very much. This is Punchline Africa Television, one of the online stations that always keeps on transmitting to the Pan-Africanism region, and then transmits Sub-Saharan Africa, then Europe. If you are not very far from Africa, if you are in Africa, if you want to listen to the real news with facts, backed with facts, talk to us. I'm Dr. David Matsanga with my co-host, Miriam Ogutu. Miriam, before we go further than this, let's first of all look at the headlines in Kenya. You have a very good headline, very good weekend for me. And at last, I sat down and I said, thank you very much. Whatever I've been preaching has come to pass. Whatever we want to unite this country called Kenya, the redemption strategy has come to pass. And I'm happy. The beginning of a redemption strategy was Sunday. But let me call it is just the beginning. It is going to be bigger than we expected. If all the men of the valleys, the mountains, at least 1 prominent, 2 prominent, 3, 4, in each place, in each tribe in Kenya, is assembling in this coalition, who are you to say people cannot defeat you? Okay, back to you, Miriam.
Very well, thank you so much. So I'll take us through quickly through the headlines this afternoon on the Sunday Standard. The main headline, Raila unleashed, and there are a few quotes here. Perhaps I might just read them through quickly. What President Kenyatta said yesterday: I am here because Raila Amolo Odinga, there is a difference between a politician and a leader. And ODM leader was quoted as saying, Mr. President has gone all out to support my candidature because he believes it is in Kenya's best interest. And then President Kenyatta said, from today, in thought, words, blood, and heart, I am Azimio, and I have no doubt in my mind that victory is ours. And then just down there, Kenya Kwanza leaders hit out at Uhuru and allies. And Putin faces sanctions as anger grows over Ukraine. That is on the world news on page 37 and 38 on the Sunday Standard. And on the Sunday Nation, the main headline, Azimio Thunder Decision 2022 after Mudavadi's earthquake, Nairobi feels the rumble of a grand coalition union. And then just beside that, Stop Party Politics, Ruto tells President on the campaign trail in Nyeri. DP Ruto hits out at ODM leader Raila Odinga, accusing him of dragging President Kenyatta into party politics to help him win the polls. That is on page 6. And of course, on the world news, what Africa stands to lose in Ukraine war. And that, of course, is part of our conversation this afternoon after we are done with the Kenyan, politics of the Kenyan topic. So that is what we have on the front pages. And maybe before we go further, on the other side of the our correspondent, Daniel Wesonga is joining us. Daniel Wesonga, very good afternoon to you.
Yes, very, very good afternoon to you, Miriam Ogutu in Nairobi. Good afternoon to Dr. Matsanga David and our viewers here in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, and the rest of the world. Indeed, it is my pleasure to be the conversation this particular afternoon and to be on the Africa Showdown.
All right. So, Doc, I know you'd started us off. Just continue.
Yes.
Topic.
Events happened over the weekend. Very good things happened in Kenya. We have been looking for unity of purpose. A country without unity of purpose cannot have elections that are peaceful. Elections cannot be conducted in a country which is not united. A country whose elections are actually stolen creates a problem. A country where people are quarreling and they want to go to elections, what is any investor to come to this country? A country that everybody wants to see going up, not going down, and does not clean its mess in politics. What is people? However many investors you bring in the country, the many trips you make outside Kenya, there is always chaos, medium. So we are saying simply, the road towards August 9th is bumpy, full of potholes. But on Sunday, something started. Uhuru's dream came true. Most of us who have been advocating for the redemption strategy, we are happy. I am very happy person. Whether it stops on the way, in the middle, whatever they want to say, I am not bothered anymore. Because it has begun, it will grow. Somebody will think of this nation other than thinking of himself. Ruto thinks of himself. Ruto wants presidency at all costs. He can go to any extent and pick up presidency and take it, even if he crushes people. Even if people die, he doesn't care. But he wants to become a president. Uhuru Kenyatta on the other side says, no, we have made progress, we have made mistakes. Time has come for us to reactivate and see whether we can continue with making some progress in terms of infrastructure, in terms of food security, in terms of healthcare, in terms of manufacturing. Those are the points that we saw them coming out of Uhuru Kenyatta. The legacy, you cannot make all these good roads. You cannot change the face of Nairobi. Then all of a sudden, Miriam, you hand it over to people who are going to destroy it. No. Sunday was a great day for me. I am still reeling from the excitement that for the first time in Africa, there comes a revolution called redemption strategy. A redemption strategy to think about healing, reconciliation, accountability, restitution, reparations. There are so many IDPs, Miriam. Several IDPs in Kenya. You had a house in the Rift Valley and you are traveling to Malaba or Busia. Then you stand there on the road in Tarbo or in Timborewa or anywhere and look across. Somebody is cooking in your house. there is smoke coming in your house. Is that reconciliation? Is that reparation? Is that restitution? Ruto should have begun doing this, making sure that people who occupy the people's properties have gone back, get out, but he's one of the property occupiers. He grabbed some of these things. He doesn't want to leave. He was fined in court. This is evidence. He was found guilty of having occupied a farm of Mutechi. Is this the man that you want to elect? Is this the man who will encourage reconciliation? Is this the man? Because yesterday, Kenyatta opened the lead. Whether here or in New York, where he's going, we are going to tell him in the conferences. We are also traveling to London and other places to be in those conferences to embarrass him about the corruption that he does in Kenya. And then he goes to say he's hiding somewhere. He's a Kenyan deputy president. This is a half deputy president. What is the Swahili word for half? Nusukati. This is a half loaf. Deputy president is a ghost worker. Now he has become half a president, a deputy president. You have been removed from being a party which selected you to be there. Then you are putting a red carpet at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport that you are living as a president, a deputy president. Oh my God, forgive me. In London, we are going to ask those questions. Where we people of Chatham House, like me, a life member of Chatham House, will you ever be one, Mr. Ruto? No. No credentials can give Ruto Chatham House slot. Because in Chatham House, we don't take people who take people's eyes out. Yes. Yes. People have died here, Miriam. This guy has taken people's eyes out. Yes. Kenyans watch 15th March. The ruling will come. It's coming. It is coming. You can enjoy as much as it lasts. It's not me. I'm not there. I helped you to get out. You continued poking people's eyes and tampering with witnesses. This time, help yourself. Me, as a Ugandan, as you call me, by the way, Miriam, I was not born a refugee. I didn't know. So, anybody who says I'm a refugee, so what? Don't the refugees eat? They eat. They are better refugee. Even Boris Johnson is a refugee in the United Kingdom. Is he not the Prime Minister of United Kingdom? Is he not? So, these are some of the smaller things of Tanga Group Brigade, Miriam. It has failed. It has exposed them. Another issue I want to address, because Ruto keeps on lying to these younger men. You know, Tanga Group is like a Majimaji Rebellion. The Majimaji Rebellion of 1905 to 1907 is what Ruto has brought Majimaji Magic Rebellion and confused some younger men here in this country and telling them, oh my God, I am going to bring a bottom up. Which bottom up? This is Majimaji Rebellion. And the people are pouring themselves with water on that the head miracle is going to come from the economy. How can the miracle come from a thief who has stolen your own money and then he's giving you handouts? Then you say, I am very happy with Majimaji Rebellion. Exposed on Sunday. You saw everybody, Miriam. It's not me. Everybody, people come. It's not Matanga. I'm now just analyzing and let people know. You can throw those insults to me. What will they do to me? Will they kill one of my grandchildren? I have 11 grandchildren, by the way. 11. 11. Will you take one? No, God can take one, but not you. It's not me. So even if you insult me, you who insulting me, you have not even left Kericho. You are still in your village latrine. You are insulting a man who has traveled 126 countries out of 190 countries. So who is going? I don't care. You can insult me, but on Ruto, it's a hammer packet to the mwisho. Whether he wins this country, he will win it. After all, he will need some of us. He might win here, but not there. We shall block. We shall work to make sure that Kenya goes in the right hands of the right people, not a thief. It's not me. It's Uhuru who told us yesterday that this guy is not trusted. It's Uhuru who told us on Saturday that the man wanted to overthrow a government. Yes, didn't he say that? Miriam, you heard. This is not Matsanga. He wanted to overthrow a government. He used the majority cabinet, parliament, to overthrow a government. Uhuru said it. Let's play the clips of Uhuru, not Matsanga. So now don't talk rubbish. Bring it on. There is another lady somewhere in Nyeri. My friend, we are gonna tell you and you run off. Anaambianga watu, anatukana watu. Anatukana watu. Wewe uko single parent na 3 children. What is your problem? Let's not go there. None of my children, my daughters is a single parent. I've married them very nicely. The last one, 2 are left. Where? You touch Uhuru, we touch you. We are sawing you, we are watching, but the way we shall come to expose you on social media. Don't touch Uhuru anyhow. Talk your nonsense. You don't even know the Hague. You have never even traveled to the Hague. Na wewe huko unakaa kwa mtandao hapa, unasema Hague. Me, I have traveled to the Hague like 1,000,000 times. 126 countries. Has Ruto traveled 126 countries? Apart from Sungoi and stealing cement and nails of Chinese constructors. Kwenda. My house was not built on stolen nails that used to come every night to drop. Chinese used to drop nails at night. Even the neighbors felt, what comes at night at 3 a.m.? Mr. President, you made a mistake to choose this one. But you have done a very good thing to unite with Raila Amolo Odinga to progress the unity of purpose. Azimio Oka Kenya moja. Tutasukuma. We shall help you. We shall help you on strategy. Let Kenyans understand. It is either that route or we perish. Kalonzo will come. Kalonzo cannot. The best Kalonzo can do, let him go. He can go as a single candidate, but he cannot go to Ruto's camp. The final thing, as I leave, I will keep quiet and I leave a song and you two people to battle it out. What did they have gone? This is a night meeting. If you look at all executive directors of Open Society Foundation, they are gone in Kenya. They went on Friday. Mudavadi is George Soros. George Soros is Mudavadi. So a group, a clique, a faction, and if Rigathi waits that he will be a deputy president, he can't. Mr. Rigathi, don't insult Uhuru too much. Just start looking for words for apology. You marry from that family, and you are insulting your in-law. Mr. Rigathi, just close your mouth a bit and look behind where you are. You are a DO slaughtering people in Njoro. Nobody has brought crimes against humanity for you. So go slow on your in-laws. You marry from that place. But you are not going to get the slot of the deputy presidents The deputy president is George Soros in Mudavadi, and the president is Samoei Ruto of that party UDA, not Kenya. Kenya tuko na president atakuwa moja tarehe 9. Matsanga never loses a battle. Tarehe 9 itakuwa what Oka won, Oka and Azimio. The candidate they bring now is the one who will be the president. Wacha tuweke pesa hapo. Me, if you defeat me, I'll write my note, conceding note. I'm the only man in Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, Miriam, who writes conceding notes. Biashara kama inashinda nauza. Sitaki kupishana na mtu. So Rigathi, prepare your mouth, slow your mouth down, because you might soon need Uhuru Kenyatta. You might need him. They are your in-laws. You married there. You worked there. Why do you insult a man whom you have worked for? He helped you. You stole a bit of money from there. Started stealing. You know, now you stole. And you know, in-laws, when you steal, Medium, when you steal from in-laws, at times they watch you. They don't want to embarrass their daughter. So Rigathi was stealing small PA of the deputy president of the president Uhuru. Anaiba kidogo in Kanu. Then today he made some money. Keep quiet, kula mzuri, because the in-laws cannot ashame their daughter. Ndio naona Miriam, some of us viewers, we have two daughters who are married. If I tell you where my daughters are married, some of you might think that I should not be on this TV. But what else can I do, Miriam? I don't want to be insulted by those guys that wana huyu tulimpatia pesa. Atafadhali ni kule kangu. Let me eat my small money. Little that I have, but not to be insulted. So the in-laws at times have a bigger heart. Rigathi, the in-laws in Kiambu have a big heart for you. They don't want to go and insult you. They will be insulting their daughter from that family. So tone down your mouth. You might need Uhuru tomorrow. As we see from the Sunday, the train has started, left the station. Redemption strategy. I am the most pleased man. That's why I've talked like that. The last matter that I want to put to you, Ruto has left United States for United States of America, and it is on this basis that he left. One, he left on what we call a restrictive visa. Watu ya tanga msikie. Restrictive visa. Each place, each meeting, you are restricted. Immigration officers are there. You don't pass 1 hour and 10. You don't go out of town. You can't believe. You know, some people are telling people Ruto has gone to US. Ruto has been given a restrictive visa to particular places. It's not a visa Miriam gets when she's going to US after leaving JFK airport. You can go wherever you want. Ruto's visa is restrictive.
So he cannot divert and go.
No! Okay. Tuambiane ukweli. These guys of Tanga, some of them have not even left their village latrines. And they are sitting there with a phone and writing. A restrictive visa means you go for that particular meeting. They give you even the meeting will last 1.5 hours. You don't pass 1 minute. You leave the hall, go to the next one, then depart the country. Are you a deputy president of which country? Ndio, wacha tusukumane hapo sasa. We supply this information to the world. I worked as an immigration officer in London, United Kingdom, Heathrow Airport, Her Majesty's Immigration Department. Check me. What are you going to tell me? You're rubbish, Kenya. Wajana, Ruto has gone there on restrictive visa. It tells you at 11 o'clock, if you want, even if you fall sick in that particular hotel, under the hospital, unless you fall badly sick and you need oxygen in another state, they have to review the visa. Sasa huyo deputy president kweli? Yeah. Bring it on, yeah.
You are very correct, Dr. Matsanga. He cannot even go outside maybe his hotel and be able to hang out and be able to explore the cities that he's visiting. It just reminds me in high school, whenever we had students who had disciplinary cases visiting another school, let's say for sports or drama festival, you are told if you are going to this particular school, then you have to be confined in whichever field you are going to be playing in or whichever auditorium that you're going to be making your presentation.
Especially with Songa. You are right.
Yes.
Especially when you have gone to a girls' school, like you used to go to girls' school, and you are very restricted. You are restricted in certain areas, dormitories, where the most beautiful girls, some of them stay. Can't you say that?
You can't even access the dormitory.
You can't access the dormitory. But you know, Miriam, I am just bringing it for Kenyans who are in Kericho, Homa Bay, to understand. A restrictive visa means you will go to State Department, meet one or two people, and leave. And then the route, the hotel, you don't leave the hotel where you have gone and gone to Marks and Spencer. The other people can go to Marks and Spencer and buy you a suit. But you cannot go to Marks and Spencer when they have marked that territory.
That's restricted.
For example, when he reaches London, Ruto will go to Lambeth Palace. Then come route back, the route to Chatham House. And then go to the University of King's College, of which I don't want to tell you. The students there have been charged. They are asking, these are toughest lawyers on planet Earth. They are going to ask serious questions. That's why some of us will be there to back them up. Then go to Chatham House. Then leave. Restrictive visa. Ruto cannot leave Central London and say, I am going to Brighton to see the southeast coast where the ships of the Germans landed. Unless he goes back, the immigration officer at Heathrow varies. I'm now using very good words here. Variation. A variation of visa.
And why do you think, Doc, because we know like recently the Deputy President took a trip out of the country when he went to Dubai, but there are speculations that he happened to have visited another country.
No, he went to Milan.
He went to Italy.
Yes.
And so could that have advised the need for the government to give this restrictive visa? Because at the end of the day, he's still the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and some of these trips that he's making are taking advantage of his position in that regard, and maybe the government is not aware of what he's actually going to do. Could that be the reason why the government decided, fine, we will not stop you from going, but if you're going, then you have to stick to the program.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you're going to
I
do
think,
there.
Miriam, you have raised a very serious point here. The Foreign Office of Kenya would have asked the Americans, why are you giving our Deputy President a restrictive visa? But the Americans say, we have cases with this man here already. He's involved in so many corruption scandals. His name has appeared in so many. The best not to kill our relationship with you, Kenya. Let's give him restrictive visa to arrive to certain place. The government of Kenya has no authority over United States of America, but it can plead on behalf of any official of Kenya whom you are, who has a diplomatic passport and who is being restricted. You have to inform the foreign Commonwealth office, foreign office of Macharia and Omamo.
Yes.
You inform them that your man there is a thief, your man there is a corrupt man, your mom there pokes people's eyes and throws them in Miami. Your man there does so many things. So, but we are...
And also because the government usually is not aware of the content or the parts of the meetings he holds out there on behalf of
a man,
country.
No.
The government is not aware why he even goes to this. So it has to make sure, I think for the interest of the country and national security at this point. Because if you're going to go to some place as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and the President who is supposed to be sending you or allowing you to go to these visits or whatever it is that you're going to do there, is not aware of the reason as to even why you were going there, but you're using your position as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya to leverage, so the government has to worry when he goes to some of these, visits. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? So because we are not fully aware, so we have to
media. The purpose, the government. If Ruto was a well-behaved person with the government will write a letter in protest to the American embassy to say, why are you restricting our deputy president? And you are giving him a visa which directs him one-way traffic and get out. You see, in case he falls sick, he can't go out of the hotel, but the doctors will come to the hotel or go to the nearest hospital nearby if he needs oxygen. Because usually oxygen, the way he does his things, he could need oxygen.
So he can't have any clandestine
meeting. So they are watching him because he has a restrictive visa. Means you're a criminal. Since this time tupige hiyo kitu ikuja haraka is criminal. If you are given a restrictive visa, refuse it, don't go. But because they have a deal with George Soros, they had to go with Mudavadi, who is quiet. Look at Mudavadi's visa. Mudavadi's visa is not restrictive, and for security reasons I'm not going to display this visa of people, because that is now going too far today. Otherwise, if you press me too much, inaweka hapa sahi. I'm just being honest. It has already been swiped somewhere. I have it. Voila. They were swiped this morning as they left. So what is their problem?
And also,
I have the visa. I know the restriction. So I'm talking the truth. So Tanga Brigade, this Mujahideen, these people of Majimaji Rebellion. I'm not Majimaji Rebellion. I can be a Ugandan, but I'm not Majimaji Rebellion. Sina hiyo. Yes, straightforward. Their passports have been swiped. They are all over Interpol. We can see. Because you have to be checked. Once it's swiped, it is everywhere. I can intercept it from Paris. Now, one telephone call, the copy will arrive here. Restrictive visa. So hapa tanga. Get off. You have spoiled Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy that you are tanga. They are, Miriam, before I leave Wesonga to come in, there are people like Mulukomen. I put them on notes. Mulukomen, Kindiki, Ichungwa, pay my money. Especially Ichungwa. Ichungwa, you have my 839 euros. You left a bill in a hotel of 839. You said, you told me a lie. You are going to Turkey. And you will come back in the morning. In the ICC, you remember? Pay my money. Otherwise, I will be coming to you. Or my bailiffs will come. 889 euros. And you are now insulting Uhuru Kenyatta. So you have crossed the line. Rubicon, Lipa. Wewe Murkomen, you were one of the witnesses who fixed Ruto. Wacha watu wa Kenya wajue leo. I don't want to say your number here, because ICC can say, how did you know? But I know. You were working for an organization that is linked to America, that was chasing William Ruto to fix him at the ICC. Kindiki knows. I and Kindiki were doing the same thing, defending these guys, 6 of them. We found your name there. Now, wait. Murkomen, you also insult people with those insults. Kwenda, wacha. And then you remember my money, Murkomen. You were getting my money every month. You, Murkomen and Kindiki, murudishe pesa hizo. Mulipata pesa zangu in my name. When I went to that office, I found my money had been taken by Kindiki and Murkomen. Your lawyers take me to court, and I tell you what happened. I will show you that you are useless. Mulipe pesa zangu. Iko kangine haka Kiambu. He was in jail. Nilimsaidia 142,000. Huyo nani? Every time he's insulting President Uhuru. Wewe Moses. Watu walikuacha jela bwana, tulikusaidia utoke. Wewe acha maneno yako. Nyinyi mna insult Uhuru every day. Uhuru is a very good man. He's quiet. We only is restricted because he's the head of state. Lakini ajamen, kama Uhuru anatoka atakuwa chairman, wewe uko kwa shida. Nyinyi mtakuwa kwa, if he's the chairman of the party, na yeye akuwe free without president, na yeye anajua kutukana haki. Uhuru ako na hiyo. Don't think these 2 men are conmen with helicopter money, collecting money. They were collecting money from all managing directors in the name of Ruto, and even in the process collected mine. Murkomen, do you remember the office where you used to go in the morning, every end of the month? Do you remember what Naume Shabani told you to do? Hey, now unataka nitoboe? You touch me and you will see. I'm ready to go home. Lakini usikuja namna hivi mnatoboa nyenye. Miriam, these guys are conmen. These men, I think, are Majimaji rebellion soldiers. Ruto has poured water there, and they think they will win. They won't win a battle at all. They will not. Raila has suffered for this country. Raila has gone to jail for this country. Who was persecuting Raila? Is Ruto with YK-92. Who was raping demonstrators? Is Ruto helped people? You know, we are told that he used to gang rape people even. Mr. Ruto. During YK-92. Yeah. So if people think that we should keep quiet, hapana. Thank you. Let's proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. And Daniel, I know from yesterday's meeting that was held in Kasarani and the other one in at the KICC, I don't know what stood out for you from these 2 meetings yesterday.
Thank you so much, Miriam Ogutu. And of course, whatever stood out for me yesterday was the merger between Jubilee and ODM and other parties who are affiliate of Jubilee Party. You know, that is the kind of juggernaut that we are waiting for from the Azimio side. And I can tell you, Miriam, as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, that with that kind of particular month of coalitions, William Ruto has the slimmest chances of even becoming the third, in competition, if we're gonna have any other third force. But all said and done, let us wait for next month that is where we're gonna see more and more people coming to Azimio la Umoja. And of course, you've seen from yesterday's signs and whatever was happening, President Uhuru Kenyatta is actually gonna be fully in charge of the Jubilee Party, and to the extent the Azimio coalition, because he's the patron and the chairman of the coalition. So you cannot tell me that this man who was able to marshal up numbers for both TNA and URP and win a presidential election in 2013 and went ahead also under Jubilee in 2017 to win an election will be unable to actually push Raila Odinga to become the fifth president of this particular country. You know, this is not a scenario like we had in 2002, where President Uhuru Kenyatta was just a beginner trying to make his foray into politics. Raila Odinga is a seasoned politician. He has vied for presidency for about 4 times, and he has an experience of how to navigate this particular scene and be able to gather votes for himself. So whatever President Uhuru Kenyatta will be doing for him will just be a bonus. And that is why those who are looking forward to William Ruto's presidency are some people who are disillusioned. And I will tell them perhaps to start maybe aligning with the facts and the reality of the matter as early as now, because there's no way William Ruto is going to beat that particular team. Another thing, Miriam, maybe in regards to the deputy president's tour of the US, I wouldn't want to dilute whatever Dr. Matsanga has talked about, because he has given a very clear picture of what we anticipate of the visit and the kind of scenario that the deputy president is going to be traveling in, and the kind of the restrictive visa that he's having and all that. So he has already given given our viewers that he has painted the picture to our viewers or rather whatever is happening in that regard. And he is a man who is well versed in international affairs and travels and security. So I won't go much deeper into that. But one key thing, Miriam, maybe I would like our viewers to take note is that Musalia Mudavadi is also going this particular trip. And Dr. Matsanga said that the Open Society Foundation directors and top managers also left the country to go for this particular trip. And that tells you that this is an NGO thing. They are going to collect money, they are going to have fundraisers, and also they are going to give maybe a progress report of whatever activities they have been doing in support of regime change. You've seen Mudavadi has been very, very vibrant when it comes to poking holes in the economy of the country, telling the president the way his leadership style is bad and all that. But this is an incapacitated former minister, a minister who was not able even to help Kenyans an inch. Instead, he chose to raise the pay-as-you-earn tax by 500%. So to me, Miriam, I see agents of George Soros going to get their pay. They are going to get maybe if their deal will go well, to get some money here and there and be able to come and be able to push the agenda here in Kenya. The ultimate goal of all this was to get Musalia Mudavadi and William Ruto working together, which has been a success. So let's wait and see whatever George Soros will be trying to do again with these two dynamic duos as they come back from their trip after 2 weeks. I submit.
Very well, thank you so much. And of course, I think the resonating message that perhaps was stood out for the two leaders was all of them, both of them, explained to us the reason as to why they even felt it was important to unite, the unity of purpose. And also, President Uhuru Kenyatta was more concerned from what we heard him say yesterday and what he's been saying, the continuity of his development agenda and his legacy, somebody who will come and pick up from where he stopped and will continue and add to that. But also, while talking yesterday, perhaps he attempted to answer the question and the issues that have been raised about Raila is trying to join the government through the back door, because that has been something that the deputy president and his brigade has been saying. But the president said, no, we shook hands and we decided, let's work for the better good of this country and this man to join the government through the back door.
Yeah.
Do you want to take it and then Doc will come in? Maybe shortly, quickly.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, the president was very, very clear that these people had actually brought fire into the same government that they were serving in, and therefore he had to go out there and ask for the neighbors' help, who are the opposition leaders, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and the rest, to come down and help him put out this particular fire. And, William Ruto has been propagating lies over and over again. This is a man who is very, very dishonest, a man who speaks from the both sides of his mouth, and he has been going around telling people that Raila Odinga and the handshake are the reason why the Jubilee government is not delivering in Kenya, which is an outright lie. The Jubilee government has delivered more in the second term, more than it did in the first term, simply because corruption was done away with, mediocrity was done away with, and also the people who were sabotaging the government from within were also done away with when we had the handshake. The notion that Raila Odinga was trying to get into government through the back door is a total is a total crap, Miriam, to me, if you are to ask me, because Raila Odinga does not have any cabinet secretary who has been appointed from his side. He does not have even a parastatal chief, leave alone even a sweeper coming from Raila Odinga to get into the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And if I heard the president well yesterday, he said that Raila Odinga only offered his goodwill so that the projects that the president had in mind could continue. He did not even beg to be appointed or to be given something in government. Neither did he even ask for money or anything else that would be beneficial to him. So this is a man who is a patriot, a man who has proven himself to be a statesman. And there's also another thing, Miriam, the president brought about, that Raila Odinga is not an aggressor. Raila Odinga is not a man who is affiliated to violence, like many people have always believed. Because if Raila Odinga had been a violent man, he wouldn't have agreed to having a handshake with former President Mwai Kibaki in 2007. He wouldn't have agreed to have a handshake on March of 2018 with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And those were President's word, because we know in this country, people who are not willing to have truce, people who are not willing to have peace and reconciliation. You remember when Kofi Annan and other African dignitaries were actually trying to bring President Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga together. William Ruto held a press conference calling Kofi Annan an idle man. When President Uhuru Kenyatta the other day was talking about how chaos were actually bringing his government down, the deputy president actually gave him a call and told him to kangumu, meaning that he should not be deterred by those who are protesting. But remember, people were losing their property. People were dying. There were tensions across the country. No one could be able to do business with such kind of a messy environment. And therefore, the decision to have the handshake with President Uhuru, between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Prime Minister, was a decisive and a bold decision from the president and the former premier. And therefore, yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta was very right to put it into perspective and tell Kenyans, this is what was happening, and this is the reason why we had the handshake. And those who were spreading lies and propaganda about this particular initiative are the enemies, the true enemies of this country. And therefore, they say that as a leader, you should always say the truth. And Miriam, even the Bible says that say the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I believe that is as a country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Did President Kenyatta answer that question to the many who have been claiming Raila was joining the government through the back door?
He did. And he summarized it in one way. I'm not looking for Raila the politician. I'm looking for Raila the leader. That's it. The only problem that the people who oppose Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta have washed themselves in Maji rebellion. They have that magic of water sprinkled on them that they will have power. They will fight the Germans. They will fight. So come, the Germans came and massacred them in hundreds of thousands. But Uhuru summarized it and said, never, I didn't tell Raila you become the president. But I was looking not for Raila, a politician. I was looking for Raila, a leader. A leader who came back and shook the hand. You remember when I was opening remarks, I made redemption strategy. When I went to Kampala in 2008, Miriam, the whole night, I slept, I did not sleep, I drank, I could not drink. I was thinking how I was going to shake this guy's hand tomorrow. And this guy was none other than Museveni. A man, 23 years, I've never seen when he come to London, when he come to Nairobi, those days in 85 under Moi, we would fly to or go by bus away from the city. Special branch could say, all Ugandan refugees, top men, all of you who are here, go to Mombasa until the president comes back. Moi would order that. But in 2008, the whole night, I couldn't drink much. I couldn't take water. Food was not going. How am I going to wake up in the morning? Because the first time when we went for the meeting, we did not talk. We did not shake hands. Ningilia huko na mimi na sisi tuliingia huko. Naingia kila mtu anataka kusalamia. Chisano alimwambia watu wengine. You remember what happened in Juba? He woke up, he came to greet us. I refused. And they said, pack your things and leave. I said, okay, give me the flight now. Give the flight and I go. I'm ready to leave. And then they leave the men to come. As Mimi said, they are here. They will come. If they don't see me and you molest me here, they will come. You gave me permission to negotiate, but I cannot shake the hand of President Museveni prematurely in Juba. That is 2007. 2008, I arrived in Kampala for the first time after 23 years. I've never seen my home. Miriam, do I tell you what? Wagwan. After the meeting, Chisano, Chikwete, Riak, they said, no, we cannot go out of this. Still, the building be stopped. In a meeting inside, President Museveni, he was asked, now we have finished the problem of Konyi. It's over now. We know the timetables. You have signed. He signed agenda number 5. Matsanga, you have done very well. The European Union were there. Can we talk about this problem between you and the Matsanga? Oh, no. What? The man said, you have ambushed me. It took 10 minutes. We thought he was sleeping. This is the truth. Because it's a Sunday, I don't want to lie. He took 10 minutes. Then he came back and said, oh, Dr. Matsanga is a very good guy. He's done very well. He has brought peace. He has crossed these men across to the Western Equatorial, blah, blah, blah. Then Iriaka said, that's very good now, let's shake hand. This is what I had feared the whole night. Shake the hand. You can see that handshake. I don't know where the studios can bring the handshake for you. Mama, Miriam, I went to that handshake while I was saying, From that day, I felt the burden offloaded. I shook Museveni's hand. We had a meeting. I think viewers, you'll see that picture coming. I said, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. And in my tribe, when you shake somebody, you don't come with a fist. And that is it. That's the end of the rebellion. It is over. Uganda is peaceful. I am all right. I don't walk with a shadow behind. And that is how Uhuru Kenyatta felt on that day when he shook hands with Raila Odinga. And that's how Raila felt when he shook hands with Kenyatta. You feel relieved. You saw the way the president was dancing. That dance is the dance I danced.
From that dance, I think I felt as though President Uhuru Kenyatta is really missing to be a private citizen.
Yes.
To enjoy his
The
life.
man danced because he has now thrown the baggage to Kenyans.
And I think he said it before, President Uhuru Kenyatta himself. This handshake was the best thing that has happened to him as the head of state of the Republic of Kenya. He's able to sleep and enjoy peace, and you can tell even from his body language. He seems to be very at ease. And he said that himself.
He said, I came to see. If viewers, you can see that's the photograph of Dr. Matsanga and the President Museveni shaking hands in Kampala in 2008 on 8th December at exactly 4:24 in the afternoon. And after that, we boarded a plane to Nairobi for the Great Lakes President's meeting in a hotel somewhere in Nairobi. I felt relieved. From that day, those who try, you can try. For me, I did my best. I ended there. You see that meeting? That's it, Miriam. What else? I cannot go. I'm not God. I don't know how long Museveni will be on earth. So you want me to continue fighting until when? I also need to look after my grandchildren. They need kuka. They need me. Isn't Wesonga? They need me also. I've done my bit. And my children have grown. Some of them are older than Chagulani. Yes, they can fight a fight ahead, not me. I've done my best. I brought peace. Northern Uganda, the Luos are not, they are not harassed anymore. What made me to stand up in the middle was the harassment of the Luo people, was the killing of the Luo people, was the murdering of the Luo people, which forced me to join, to stop the carnage, the killings that were taking place in Uganda. And then we stopped it. Uganda is peaceful. The same Luos now gave Museveni 99.9% votes. I'm not the one enjoying the money. I did it for the world. So what has Ruto done? To steal money, steal here, steal there, that I'm deputy, half deputy president. How come that you have not raised that? We raised it here. Professor came in and said, oh, he's still. How can you say you have been removed from the party which sent you to be a deputy president? Can you feel comfortable? It's only that in Africa, Miriam, we don't feel ashamed. Yes, we don't feel ashamed, my sister. You find a man with the family in a car, and he stops the car on the roadside and goes to Susu in the bush. We don't feel ashamed. Honestly, Africa, we have very bad manners. Tuambiane ukweli. Your children are watching through the window, and you are there. Then tomorrow, wait. James, stop it. James is doing the same. Now, will you blame the child? Will you blame the child? You go and steal. The boy is watching you. You are stealing. I said, look. That is picking that thing. Look. And then you come to the car. Ha, Leo, this is very good for you. A bright child will ask you, hello? But dad, you just didn't pay. Well, keep quiet. This is how some of the parents in Africa behave. Medium, today, I was on a flight coming from somewhere. And in that flight, I was with the MP, Dr. Musimba. You know him. And then Dr. Mwangi of the Equity Bank. And Dr. Musimba asked me, I know you don't come on TV anymore. Hey, he opened the Pandora box. I said, so you are the Musimba who went to parliament independent. You remember? What has happened to you? You no longer speak independently. Tunaanza. Then I asked Dr. Musimba, you are watching. I said, I'm going to talk about it today. Dr. Musimba, we left the whole place when he's one of my best friends ever. He said, the points David Matsanga you have raised, these things are going to happen in our country. We are preparing an election for disaster. This election is not properly equipped, not properly paid for, not properly constituted, not properly. If they want Miriam, they come for you to say you spoke something about the server, but has the server been opened? No, you tell me. Ask Musimba, why would you write? Why would why would Mr. Chebukati summon one MP, and yet the Supreme Court gave an order to open the servers? So, in case the Supreme Court reaches a point and said the servers, until the servers of 2017 are open, this election is not there, what will you do?
And also the first election presidential results were nullified. That means they were not verifiable. They had issues that were flawed until Kenya had to go to, we had to go to another presidential election. They were nullified because some serious discrepancies were found. So IEBC that is interesting.
So when we got out, Dr. Mwangi said, Dr. Matsanga, please don't give us up on us. Help us, utatuokoa tena. This is the word he said. Don't give up on us. You are my friend. I know you are one of those who has never come to me. You can imagine. I have that influence. I could go to Dr. Mwangi and say, nipatie kaloni kadoko like, hello, Dr. Mwangi, niko na business partner, new fruit farmer. A new fruit farmer called Harun Ayadin. Nipatie 15 billion.
Well, Equity issued an official statement said they did not do that. That is not how they conduct business. Daniel, I say you pop in. Would you like to add on to something?
Mr.
Daniel,
you have seen what did
yes, go ahead.
Yes, I do believe that we cannot continue with the IEBC as currently constituted. And Dr. Matsanga has said that for empty time that our electoral body as it is right now is a recipe for chaos. If we continue and go to the election with Chebukati at the helm of IEBC without doing an audit of whatever happened in the previous elections, that will be akin to doing the same thing the same way while you're expecting the same results. It can never happen. So I believe, Miriam, the kind of of crooked IEBC we have today, an IEBC which does not shy away from working with William Ruto. We know Wafula Chebukati's brother, Philip Kinisu, is a business partner to William Ruto, and therefore that brings a conflict of interest. And therefore, we believe that for IEBC to be impartial, for IEBC to be bipartisan, to be able to conduct free, fair, and credible election, we need actually to revamp it. We need to have someone else other than Wafula Chebukati overseeing the August polls. Otherwise, Miriam, all hope is lost with IEBC. We can never be able to regain our confidence in IEBC if the same crooks are at the helm of it. You know, it is akin to changing the forest, but the monkeys still remain the same. And therefore, I support Dr. Matsanga David that this country could easily be auctioned to international cartels and the likes of Harun Ayadin and William Ruto if we do not look at some simple things like maybe who is at the helm of IEBC. Why is Wafula Chebukati swift enough to summon Honorable Sabina Chege on claims which are in public gallery? I thought the Supreme Court ordered an audit into the servers and actually told Wafula Chebukati to open the servers. Why hasn't IEBC sent home people who are liable for the bungling of the 2017 presidential election? Because IEBC was ordered to have a rerun in that particular election because we had people who did an illegality on the side of the IEBC, and therefore the elections were not deemed free, fair, credible, and verifiable. We need to have those particular individuals held culpable. But unfortunately, Miriam, and sad enough, we haven't seen any heads rolling at IEBC. And Wafula Chebukati, instead of doing that, is actually asking for more money to be pumped into IEBC. Why would the Kenyan taxpayers bear the brunt of financing an organization which does not guarantee them their free will, in expressing their democratic rights? So, Miriam, I think it's a sorry state. And the earlier the stakeholders, the people who are actually running in these elections, raise their concerns about IEBC, the better. Because even the tendering for the ballot papers, Dr. Matsanga came out there and claimed that the company in Greece, which was given this tender, is a pseudo company. It is a company that does not have integrity. It is being run by mafias and cartels, but no one has been able to take a point on it. Just the same thing we've been singing about the ICC matter, pulling out and getting an African Court of Justice. No one seems to pay attention to it until we are hit. Is it maybe the Kenyan style of doing things? I don't know, Miriam. But as it is right now, I don't believe Wafula Chebukati can be able to deliver a free, fair, credible, and verifiable election. Thank you. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we leave on this Kenyan story and the issue of coalition, we saw yesterday Wiper party leader who attended Jubilee NDC, but his seat at the ODM fate was not occupied. But he did send somebody to represent him. Doc, what do you think is perhaps going on with Kalonzo?
Kalonzo, the strategy he has deployed is very good. One is coming in Oka, as Oka to Azimio. What can we clinch here? And at the end of the day, east or west, it will come to what I predicted. Kalonzo will be the deputy of Raila. Let's start knowing those things first. To Zoe. And if Kalonzo is the deputy of Raila Amolo Odinga, Sungoi goes home faster. And let people, that's my opinion. Musimiambie mimi niseme yenyu, nyoe we sema yako. I'm not the one going to choose, I'm neutral. But if I were any member of this party, my candidate would be, was strike the deal, Mandela style, with Thabo Mbeki. Thabo Mbeki and Cyril Ramaphosa and Zuma. Zuma was the real man on the ground, hitting bullets and bombs, killing the whites. Mandela chose an academic, but a very ruthless man who can buy you guns with the tongue without money. Who is that? Thabo Mbeki. Now the situation that we face in Azimio la Kenya, One Kenya, Azimio One Kenya, is that. And as a political strategist, I want to give advice. Jubilee Party, now you have security. The securities, you have a patron. The Mount Kenya, you have a patron. Because Ruto is not going to choose from Mount Kenya. Ruto is not going to choose a running mate from Mount Kenya. Forget it. He was on the plane today. He has gone to see George Soros. They are signing an agreement today or tomorrow in the restrictive area of New York. They will go out to have Kadina, or they will come to this hotel. They will sign. George Soros. You watch Ruto after coming back from London. Those activities, the wheelbarrows will be very many, because he had no money. The money was finished. The last money that Ruto had was the money arrested with Mr. Kemboy. Do you know how many times he has been carrying that money? 27 times. That's the deputy president you want. 27 times with the same Kemboy. Sindio analeta kotini, utaona accounts. Investigations are going on now. Who were the customs officers who were allowing Mr. Kemboy to be bringing in that money? So don't think that Kenyatta is stupid. Mambo bado. So what we face here in Azimio, like on Kenya, is Mandela moment. Mandela moment started when Mandela was on Robben Island. He had men. They were killers like Zuma. Jacob Zuma was a killer. He's a bomb maker. He could kill those whites. They were killers like Chris Hani. My best friend, Chris Hani. I loved him, the late. South Africa would be different today. They were intellectuals by pen, like a Kalonzo. You know, Thabo Mbeki is like a Kalonzo. Unaona Miriam? Thabo Mbeki is Kalonzo. The brain is almost the same, diplomatic. They talk to everywhere. They know this one. Thabo Mbeki can get you guns with the mouth. So Mandela moment is in Azimio Okoa Kenya moja. You have to choose. And the choice must be, Miriam, very, very accurate. Between choosing a candidate from Mount Kenya, I would advise, because Ruto will shock them. You know why he has delayed to choose his candidate? I don't know why they should also know the person, but delay. Let him name theirs first. Then you can see where you can also come in. Don't rush to name ours. Have in the meetings, be everything, do the paperwork. But live quiet. Don't give him a weed to go and choose where to go. But believe me or not, he's going to choose Mudavadi as a running mate. So if I were I'm Azimio friend, a supporter, not a member, because I don't belong to any political party in Kenya, I would take Kalonzo Musyoka with 1.6 million votes, with all the governors of Ukambani supporting the same. Those votes come easily. Then Raila, the deficit we shall get down here, we shall get from here if Ruto can manage whatever percentage he gets from the mountain. These 5 months could change quite a lot. He could end up with 20% of the few or 30%, and the tables turn. Some of them refuse to vote. There's likelihood that also people don't know rigging is very effective in. You might think they have stuffed the boxes, but people could tell other people, why are you voting a man who killed us? People stay at home. They will stay at home. They will not come. So you might end up having a very small percentage. So Miriam, I'm saying there is, for me, if I were Raila, I would die with Kalonzo.
Very well. And we know that Omingo Magara is said to have, left UDA just earlier today. he relegated his position, and it's not clear which party he's joining or who he's supporting, but he has left UDA.
Do you know why?
And what will that do to the DP in regards to the votes from, that
Everything in Nyanza is
South Nyanza?
everything in South Nyanza is changed. It's changing. Kabakende. Is it Kabakande? What is that gentleman Wesonga? He left. Everybody in Kisii is running off. That boy.
Yeah, it is Kibagendi.
Kibagendi. That boy Osoro. Sylvanus Osoro, the man that I taught politics, has confused everything of UDA there. And Mark, do you know that he's also on the way leaving Ruto?
Yeah. Even Omingo Magara, the national treasurer, has said that he's going to have a big announcement. I have seen even Cliff Ombeta talking about a big announcement coming soon. So Kisii seems to be 100% locked behind Azimio. So they're gonna align well, or maybe get voted out of the entire team.
You know why he left? He was left out of the plan of going to the US. How can you be a treasurer of UDA, then you leave him behind? Then because they are going to collect money, Omingo Magara will not accept that type of corruption. He doesn't like that.
And also, Kenyans have noted that Malala has been a bit quiet. Is it because of has to do with anything with Khalwale, and perhaps the DP is preferring Khalwale for what is going on? He's been awfully a bit quieter.
You have to understand that also there is a big mess here in Nairobi for UDA, because you just saw Nelson Harvey moving to side with Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. So, and the sole purpose of these guys joining up with UDA was that Musalia Mudavadi could get something, Johnson Sakaja could get another thing, and then in Kakamega, UDA could team up with the NC to support Malala. But as it is right now, I think they're not agreeing in Kakamega County, neither they even agree here in Nairobi, and it's going to be a big problem for them. So we anticipate that perhaps before end of March, we might have seen people taking a U-turn in the decisions that they made in the month of February. So Miriam, is just a matter of wait and see. But the grapevine has it that Senator Cleophas Malala is actually reconsidering, as well as also Sakaja. I know the moment he comes back from abroad, he will be able to get the whatever has been happening on the ground, and it's going to bring a lot of trouble in UDA. So this is a storm over paradise, Miriam.
Okay, very well. So do we end the Kenyan topics then? Perhaps look at our next topic and on Ukraine and how the war in Ukraine is shaping African politics. So perhaps, Doc, you might, want to start us off. I know perhaps it will impact us, especially economically, but also there are new opportunities that maybe could be coming from this war there that is open for Africa. It's not all gloom and doom if you can take advantage of that. And of course, we'll see some of the reactions that has since been given by some African countries. So, Doc, maybe you could start us off in this conversation.
First of all, I wish Africa was non-aligned. And I've been stating time and time again that Africa should be non-aligned movement. Get off, walk off, stand on the middle, in the middle lane, watching. Miriam, tomorrow I'll reveal to you why the Ukrainian war is very bitter war. It didn't start yesterday. It did not start today. It started a long time ago. Africans must watch that we should not become a victim, a playground. When these two guys are fighting, Russia will come down on us here. Dismember our banking system. In fact, we are talking about it with Dr. Mwangi. He said the Russians could dismember all your machines and we are done. the lessons, the effects are huge. African students are trapped. They are not being allowed to enter other European countries. So what is all this? They can't go to Poland, which is the nearest. There's no air to get them out. Would this happen on Africa and then people don't come to collect their nationals? The war is affecting us here. And it is going to come back to us. Some of us who have students, Kenya, Uganda, all countries, Uganda told its students to join, even, I think it's Ugandans are all armed men. They look like they are going to join. The embassy said, don't panic, no withdraw, just be careful. Because all Ugandans who go there are trained. Did you know that they know Ugandan you can beat and you walk away without him replying? They are all trained in Chakwanzi. All university students go to that school first. For 3 months, chaka. So, Ugandans will be accessed with guns in Ukraine. But can they match the power of Russia, which is using Saturn missile? Missiles that can, they are bad news. So, for me, the war in Ukraine will affect our continent, the economy, the trade, the everything, the airspace, the running of our aircrafts. Conditions are going to change. That's what I can say.
Okay, so let me just bring us some of the reactions since this war started. South Africa, which has the continent's most industrialized economy, has called for the immediate withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine, saying the dispute should be resolved peacefully. Now, South Africa's position is a blow to Russia, which sees it as a key ally in Africa. The two countries have strong economic ties, with both being members of the BRICS, a group made up of the world's emerging economies. And of course, South Africa has investments in Russia amounting to nearly 8 billion South African rand, that is equivalent to $5 billion US, or Russian investment to South Africa total around 23 billion rand. And of course, the reaction from Kenya, the economic powerhouse of East Africa and a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, has gone further in condemning Russia. And in an arousing speech, Kenya's ambassador at the United Nations Security Council, Martin Kimani, said the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine stands breached. The Charter of the United Nations continues to wilt under the relentless assault of the powerhouse. And of course, Ghana and Gabon, the two other African states on the United Nations Security Council, also condemned Russia. And no African country has so far come out in support of Russia's intervention, not even Mali and Central African Republic, where Russian forces are helping the government's fight insurgencies. And meanwhile, the Russian ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo says Moscow is ready to help the Central African nation and the armed violence in the east of the country, the state has reported. So, and of course, Sudan also, in a sign that autocratic regimes will stand by, Sudan's powerful military commander, General Mohammed Hamdan Hemedi Dagalo, arrived in Moscow just as the war in Ukraine started. So we're not only inviting war in this continent, but also now this proxy war we've been seeing play out in Europe. We might as well just bring it here, because if now Russia is saying it's going to the DRC and help in restoring order there, and we know France is deeply connected to some of the problems in the DRC, and now Russia and France might start an all war. What is happening? Are we being sucked in a war that we are not even ready to handle?
Miriam, I told you time and time again, we have just picked photographs of Mr. Mudavadi on the airport. I don't know whether I should give them out. Yes, let me give it to. We have just picked one of the airports, Mudavadi, and the other people. Let me send it to.
Okay. So maybe you want to respond to that as we wait for those photos, the war in Ukraine.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, I've been watching this war between Russia and Ukraine from the moment when tensions started escalating. But I want to concentrate more on Russia and Ukraine. Remember, in the old Russia, Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, was the main economic hub for the Rus Empire. And therefore, these are like, is a country where even cultures much common, and maybe these expansionist tendencies of President Vladimir Putin is maybe motivated by the fact that he thinks, together with the old guard of Russia, that they can be able to reclaim the former states of the United Soviet Socialist Republic. So that is something that they can be able to deal with it internally. But nonetheless, we should not support war in any other country. I'll preach whatever Dr. Masanga has always been preaching: peace, redemption strategy, and unit of purpose. So that is in regards to Russia and Ukraine. But one thing that stood out for me, Miriam, is the kind of theatrics that the US, China, and other Western powers has been treating the world to. It came out clearly, Miriam, and it was amplified, that the US is only concerned about the American interests abroad. And if something does not actually maybe threaten or maybe favor the interests of the US, then America is not yet ready to be able to get its troops out there and be able to defend or fight for anybody. So to me, I think it is high time Africa concentrated on its own affairs. We still have a lot of things to deal with as a continent. We still have our economies, which are still grappling and still reeling from the pains and the ravages of the pandemic. Africa has never itself gotten the full independence politically, socially, and economically because of these Western powers who want to interfere with our system of governance. Today here in Kenya, we are talking about a few individuals going to the US, going to the UK. What are they going to do there? They are going to seek the help of the Western powers, the help of Western wheeler dealers in assisting them to actually conduct a regime change here in Africa. Because we do not have sovereignty, we do not enjoy full sovereignty in as much as Africa is concerned. You remember during the early independence days, people like Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara were prematurely killed and taken out of power because the European powers felt they were threatened by these people. These are the same people at the height of their departure from Guinea. They left even with office bulbs and pens and files, leaving Sekoture with a country which was ungovernable. So to me, Miriam, I think Americans will always pursue their powers. Western powers will always pursue their interests, and where their interests are not threatened or catered for, they'll not actually set foot there. Why is it that when America goes to Iraq, when America goes to countries in the Middle East, they talk about liberation and maybe liberation of the people of that particular country? And when Russia now moves to Ukraine, they want to tell us now that is war. We have to condemn this in equal measure. If we are condemning Russia to about invading Ukraine, then we also have to go back in history and condemn America in its illegal entry into Iraq and Afghanistan. And even today, Somalia is not quite in good shape because Americans tried to go into Somalia and be able to cause mayhem. They tried to decide for them how they should be able to govern themselves. And that is why we have instability in Somalia. Most African countries, Miriam, today are in a state of anarchy simply because Western powers such as France, Western powers such as Belgium, Western powers such as America and the UK have consistently tried to interfere with leadership of those countries. Today, the guns, the weaponry that is being found in the continent of Africa was not manufactured in Africa. Neither was it manufactured in the Middle East or maybe in China. All of them were manufactured in the West. In fact, it is only until recently that China started maybe sending weapons overseas into Africa and other regions of the world. So Africa itself has a problem. And this problem comes from the Western powers. So the same people of Africa cannot maybe purport to be maybe meddling in the issues of the same people who have been writing checks of their tribulations here in Africa. And I would really like to take the same stand as Dr. Masanga, that we hope Africa will not be aligned in this. Let them not take sides. But nonetheless, we condemn the war in Ukraine and Russia because it does not really support the creed about humanity and wherever the world should be moving towards. War is not good. Whenever we have war, young children suffer, women suffer, the vulnerable suffer, and therefore that is the only reason we should condemn this particular war. But taking sides in this particular strife is going to have bigger implications. Remember, Russia has never colonized Africa. I don't know of any African country which was colonized by Russia. And also, when you look at this, by the time we were having the Second World War, we had countries in Asia, like China, which did not want to take part in this war. Why did they not want to take part in this particular war? Because themselves, they were having bigger tribulations in terms of dealing with hunger, in terms of building the infrastructure, in terms of building the economy. So to me, I believe Africa should be impartial in this particular war, but nonetheless, they should condemn the atrocities that are being conducted in Ukraine by either side, because these are war between Russia and Ukraine. And all we can do is only condemn, because at the end of the day, we still need Ukrainians for our own partnerships in economic, political, and other global security matters. We still need Russia even much bigger in cooperation in terms of economic, political, and security collaborations. Remember, even here in Kenya, you've seen the prices of commodities have started shooting up. You can also maybe search and you'll realize that 80% of wheat consumed in this country does not come from Kenya, rather it comes from Ukraine. So to be able to balance our interests, we should only condemn the evil in that particular war, but let us not take sides. I agree with Dr. Matsanga that that is the only good positions to take, because at the end of the day, if we sever our relations with Russia, the US is not going to help us, the UK is not going to help us. The Western powers are only concerned about what happens in the EU zone and what happens in America and other parts of the West. But for Africa, we need to take a firm stand on the war, but also let us not take sides when it comes to talking and discussing diplomatic relations with these two countries. At the end of the day, Miriam, these are countries which are actually conjoined at the hip. These are like Siamese twins, because at one time, Ukraine was part of Russia, and actually it was the capital of the old Russia. And therefore, whatever they do, I believe at the end of the day, they will be able to come to a truce. I submit, Miriam.
Recent past has been really aggressively wants to have its own influence when it comes to Africa, but the manner in which you've seen it positioning, it has started, having several conferences there, inviting heads of state from Africa. So it sort of wants to double or to weaken or to fight the influence of other European, countries here in the continent and in the recent past. And now we are seeing, in the middle of a war, a Russian ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo is saying, now we are willing to come in and help you fight the armed violence in the eastern part of the country, where KDF is there right now, UPDF and other forces are there. So Russia is saying we're willing to come in and fight you there.
They are going. Okay? They are going for KDF.
And then, just as the war was about to start, Dagalo made a trip to Russia, and the trip is aimed at strengthening Russian ties. At this point, that is when they choose to go to Russia, and we know, the Western powers have been pushing for a democratic process to return to Sudan, and we know the army has stayed put. So perhaps they're seeking support from Russia in regards to continuing with whatever it is going on there in Sudan. So this is the time they would choose to go strengthen their ties with Russia at a time when the junta has become, the leader there, and it's not wanted from the West. So they're seeking there. And the issue of Mali, just as other forces are leaving, led by France, Russia comes in and says, you know what, we'll bring you our mercenaries. They'll help you in restoring security. So it's not only the positions we're taking, but also this could be an opportunity for Russia to continue with growing its influence in Africa, which is something it has been wanting to do for a long time. So we will be a pawn in this game if you're not very careful with the positions we are taking.
Miriam, I said it last week. I wrote an article saying containment, dialogue and containment was the best way out on the issue of Russia and Ukraine. Every African country should think of being non-aligned movement. If you have aligned yourself with one of these two countries, you are going to find yourself in a very terrible, bad position. But it's very good to make your stand clear. Just as people aligned themselves with Israel and they have made their stand clear, but then they have the Palestinian embassy in their countries. Let's do that. Let's stand that way. Palestinian organization, Israel embassy. We cannot afford to bring the Middle East conflict here. Neither can we afford to bring a European conflict on Africa. We have just come out of COVID-19. We have a problem. Some people don't even have food, money to buy food. You want to come and bring a problem here in Africa and say, I am supporting Russia. Do you know where Russia map? Can you draw the map of Russia? Can you? Some people can't draw the map of Russia now. I can draw the map of Russia without looking for a map. But there are people who are saying, let's fight Ukraine. No, let's fight it. No. Containment, dialogue is the strategy that can be utilized. The Russian president and the Ukrainian president, they have agreed to go to table in Minsk. What happened to the Minsk agreement? Look at the Minsk agreement. We have violated it. Bring this down. I want now to shame one country in the world. Production. Put on that video. You know me, I do my research. I don't come out. Put on the video of what is happening in that region. I want systems of Africa, all those intelligence systems, to watch this. And then you'll know where the problem is, Miriam. Angalia hapo, inakuja.
I think it's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries, and then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened. But Germany is totally controlled by Russia because they were getting from 60 to 70% of their energy from Russia and a new pipeline. And you tell me if that's appropriate, because I think it's not. And I think it's a very bad thing for NATO, and I don't think it should have happened. And I think we have to talk to Germany about it. On top of that, Germany is just paying a little bit over 1%, whereas the United States, in actual numbers, is paying 4.2% of a much larger GDP. So I think that's inappropriate also. You know, we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting everybody, and yet we're paying a lot of money to protect. Now, this has been going on for decades. This has been brought up by other presidents, but other presidents never did anything about it because I don't think they understood it or they just didn't want to get involved. But I have to bring it up because I think it's very unfair to our country. It's very unfair to our taxpayer. And I think that these countries have to step it up, not over a 10-year period. They have to step it up immediately. Germany is a rich country. They talk about they're going to increase it a tiny bit by 2030. Well, they could increase it immediately tomorrow and have no problem. I don't think it's fair to the United States. So we're going to have to do something because we're not going to put up with it. We can't put up with it. And
thank you very much, viewers. As I have been saying time and time again, there you are. Have you seen the problem has been historical? We have been keeping quiet. And we have not been showing some of these things. And some of us who are beginning now to stand up to say we like this, we like that, look at the problem. Some countries in Europe are actually the ones that are propping up Russia. The pipeline in the gas, the pipeline is owned by the former chancellor of Germany, Merkel. Now, you think she would accept for her pipeline to be blown up? Now, all these sanctions that are coming, if Russia goes back to close the pipe, Europe will freeze in 4 days, in 4 months. There will be not enough gas. Now, the biggest problem, and I want to tell my viewers this, the problem of Russia with America is when America fails to give Ukraine the real cover. America, can you believe what America has done? America has done what we call aniweka junior bus, under the bus. Have they sent troops there? They have no interest. Even Joe Biden has no interest. He says NATO, America pays for NATO. It is Germany which gets more money out of ours protecting them. Why should we send American money there? They have left these guys in Ukraine to die. I bet. Do you see anybody there? It's only Britain that has now called on people, even preparing its troops. They might not also send in troops because they need a lot of Russian interest.
Yeah,
money.
And also just a few hours ago, I think before we started the broadcast, Germany announced that it's taking some military weaponry and all that in support of Ukraine.
Yes.
And it's starting to figure out, it said it has enough gas in its reserves, but it's starting to figure out other ways in which they can, have their supply and keep going, because this is where Russia gets them by the gutter.
Yes. So, German benefits from Russia.
40% of its gas comes
yes,
from,
the GDP of Russia is built by German. The arms, the payments, the direct payments that come from German to Russia are enormous. The man has been building an empire. So wewe in Africa here, you come and say, we watu watakutumaliza. Let's be very careful. That's why, have you had any cyber attack in Germany? Russians have not is there any cyber attack in Germany? There is no cyber attack. But I want to ask you, Miriam. Last year I was in London. I was in the COP conference, COP 26. I am lucky I carried my Russian system. I was the only one in the hotel. We were in the dining. The friends I went with, I am the one who enjoyed the internet. Do you remember the time the internet went off the whole world? All Kenya, in Kenya here, people were saying there is no internet for almost 4 hours. Do you remember? Emails, nobody, you could not send anything. So if such attacks come to Africa, with small banks that we see here, we shall corruptly destroy our systems. We shall lose colossal amounts of money. We have to be very careful when we are going on Russia. Let's play non-aligned movement style tactics. And there's something I wanted to do today. And I've from my KGB contacts, and don't ask me how, but I have. I got KGB contacts that told me something strange, Miriam. I couldn't believe it. And every time I talk about these people think, this man, George Soros. The anger of Russia towards Ukraine is towards US and towards the rest of this George Soros.
And NATO specifically.
Yes. Mr. George Soros got $961 billion. Stole Russian money. He stole. Look, he literally conned them. Like the way Ruto cons people and then turns around to threaten them. He conned 969 billion. I want the people to understand why this thing is deeper than what we think. So Russia went to International Police Interpol. They said this man came and lied to us, and we paid him money. He went with the money. He banked that money in Paris. George Soros opened a bank, 2 banks in Paris, which Ruto and Mudavadi are going to be paid through Paris. You will see them. I'm going to tell you, we have just discovered that Ruto is not even patriotic. These gentlemen are not patriotic. They went through another airline in Dubai. They are giving that money to another airline. They are not giving it to Kenyan Airline, but that is for another day, tomorrow. But let me tell you now, where Russia is angered more. Russia has been looking for Mr. George Soros to arrest and dump in jail. It has gone to Paris, it has gone to Kinoti. It has said, Kinoti, when you cite Russia anywhere, any mistake, bring him to us. The warrant is still standing. Medium, that is the bottom line of it. Have you now known why Russia is angered? It cannot send missiles to kill to shoot Mr. George Soros in Washington. It will be a third world war. It cannot. Have you ever seen George Soros walking out of Washington? He has never traveled. The last time George Soros was out in Africa was 2007. In that hotel near police station and Nairobi University. What is it called? Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Yes. I met him there. He stayed in Norfolk with another PS called Murage. You remember the Murage who was Kibaki? I found Mr. Murage and Mr. George Soros there. They were trying to form a government of national unity or something there. That's why I was a Sky News correspondent with Stuart Ramsey. We talked to we interviewed Mr. George Soros. That is when I started, that day it started saying, See, so many things went back. 2005 is the one funding ICC. I knew lots of things. So, Miriam, the Russians are very, very annoyed. They cannot get hold of that guy. 969 billion shillings is a lot of money. Dollars. That's fraud. The second point is Ukraine. Do you remember the Orange Revolution? Ukraine was the first Soviet Union bloc to bring chaos in the Soviet Union. You remember the Orange Revolution of Dick Morris? The man, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, forgive me on this. With Dick Morris, my friend Dick Morris, me and Morris, we don't see eye to eye. Dick Morris was an advisor coming here as an advisor of the premier, the Prime Minister. Was blocked at the airport. You remember? That's the man who caused the revolution. He's an MI, he's a CIA outfit guy working for CIA. Dick Morris was in the Clinton administration. Very powerful security expert. I knew Dick Morris through Susan Rice, my sister, Susan Rice, the sister from America. Because when Susan Rice collapsed, when Clinton went off power, Susan Rice came to Africa looking for contracts to work. She came to London. I said, we can do something on Zimbabwe. That's how I came to know Susan Rice. Luckily enough, Obama bounces back, you know. And when they came here, I saw Susan Rice. say hi, you are forgotten. But they don't. You see the problem that they don't give you even $10,000. Now the other day, she was looking for a few dollars, like 5,000, 50,000. Now she got a lot of money. She came here during the Obama days. I was very lucky, privileged. Privileged to be the only man left in that Kempinski to go for. I couldn't go for sauna, man. Yeah, there were too many. Yeah. It was well guarded. So they said, no, for him, he's a secret man, so he can go. But I was lucky. I wanted the chef of Obama. He's a Ugandan from Bududa. You remember that black chef? The mother went to exile and the mother died there. He doesn't know where the mother is. Then I said, no, the mother is there. The family is there. We still communicate. He has not come back. I don't know what he's doing after Obama left. So, Miriam, in a nutshell, that problem of George Soros angered the Russians. That problem of Ukraine being the orange that dismantled the empire. This man is a KGB. Putin is a KGB officer who has been in Africa. He was training people in Mozambique, Tanzania. You have seen the training. He trained in Tanzania, in Munduli. He was training the Mnangagwas. They were together in a training with Mnangagwa. Emerson Mnangagwa, Samora Machel. This is this guy here. So he knows a lot of African politics. And if we are not careful, Putin can come back and take over Africa. Because one, do you know what? They have money. Russians have money. Have you seen? They have sold their oil. There is discipline in monetary resources. You don't steal the money and you earn. You still walk free and fly like a Ruto has stolen and is flying. You are taken to firing squad. Unaona, they have money.
But also because Russia operates like China. It's not interested in your good governance and
yes.
human rights. But you want help. You want some. You remember when President Museveni they were taken to, when Russia went to display the newest guns. You remember we were talking about that. We had that conversation a couple of years ago. So it's not interested. So it's easier for actually Russia to be accepted in Africa. It does not have all these conditions from these other Western powers, and Russia has been looking to grow its influence in Africa. So I think slowly it's finding its way. Daniel.
Let me ask before Daniel comes in. Let me make one point. One point, Miriam. You don't. Human rights are very important, but you eat them.
But they're important.
They are important.
Yes.
But did you eat human rights?
You need to be free.
You need to balance human rights with the food. What we are for us in Africa, we are being told balance human rights first. How do you balance human rights when a man you are human righting is empty in the stomach? That's my argument.
So are you supporting the?
No, I'm not supporting. No.
No, the food prices hashtag.
Which one? I am not supporting the food. The law, the food hashtag, yes, Miriam, yes, is a George Soros approach. Mm-hmm. Is a yellow ribbon which Mudavadi, David Ndii, mm-hmm, Mohammed, and Datina Mwamba. Have you seen them? Put them here. Let Kenyans see them. They are not even using Kenya Airways. They used the Emirates to fly to the US via giving more money to other people, and they call themselves bottom up. We have a direct flight that goes to New York. Are these the people that you want to leave your country to? Look at them. We have just intercepted them. That is Muhammad, my journalist friend who was doing ICC with me at interviewing me at the ICC. And the other one is Mudavadi, then Namwamba, then you have the stupid guy called David Indi, the one who hates Uhuru Kenyatta and the family. All of them are George Soros. Where did David Indi get the scholarship? George Soros. Where did Mudavadi get money from the Mudavadi Foundation? George Soros. Where did Namwamba bring fake arms from? With what is the daughter of Ruto? June Ruto. They sat in Europe and brought arms here that killed Kenei. We have not said these things. Isn't it Namwamba who goes out, whom Ruto was sending out to see which deal? In Italy, Milan, Namwamba. And I was telling my friends here, why do you leave this Namwamba in that office? They hated me. The last time I was ever stepped in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Miriam, can I tell you? The last time I stepped in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kenya was in 2012. When Kibicho was the PS and Amina was the secretary. The two foreign affairs ministers became very, very bad to me. And when they see me doing things which help Kenya, they even get annoyed. Surely, this problem of Somalia and the oil, they got even wild, annoyed on me. Monica hated me. Juma, I know the reasons why. But I've forgiven. I can't say Omamo hates me. But the structure there of Namwamba, I feared. Because Namwamba does not even know anything to do with foreign affairs. Look at the suit he wears. You might think he's just a shoe boy of Mathanga if we walked together out of the plane. He doesn't have the structure of being a diplomat. Diplomat unakuwa na structure, hapana mbaya sana, hapana small, too small. Have a structure. Namwamba had no structure of being assistant minister of foreign affairs. They gave him where to eat. Ruto grew richer while Kenyans were growing poorer. In South Sudan, who created the chaos in South Sudan? Who created the chaos? Who brought the generals of South Sudan? Who gave Ruto money? And the generals have spoiled the peace process in Central Equatoria. Today, where is that money? Who brought that man whom we captured in Kampala? The man who claimed to have a lot of money. You remember? He was displaying that money to every Kenyan. That he is going to buy helicopters for student union. What? Where is he? Is he not in Luzira? Serving sentence? Museveni achezi? Sukuma Ruto, Uganda, na Mr. Harun Ayadin. You know why they are using that route? To meet Harun Ayadin. They are not going to use USA restrictive visa enda kwa ndege ya Kenya Airways. You know what they have done with this ndege? This picture is the picture, the old picture. And why should newspapers lie to us? This is the picture when the first aircraft of Kenya was landed in New York. When Ruto went to represent the president. Jamen, have you seen the lies of this country? Have you seen? Show that picture now of the plane. Show the picture. Someone has said Ruto being given red carpet on social media. Show it now. And I see that is not the picture of 2017. We are not fools. We are not Maji rebellion. But Mama, have you seen where we have? Miriam, let me ask. Have we reached this level? Have you seen that picture?
Where is it?
Of Kenya Airways. Have you seen the picture of Kenya Airways, you people? Yep. Production, put it there. Pictures coming there. Viewers, you look at that picture of 20, when Kenya Airways inaugural air flight. Now, these people, Ruto did not use that aircraft. They have hidden, they have now played Ruto. They don't want to show that Ruto used another aircraft. Avoided Kenya Airways.
Kenya Airways makes 2 trips to New York, so maybe it will not go well with the timing and the things he wanted to do. So maybe that's
no, Mama, no.
It goes on Tuesday.
What about makes what?
It goes there twice. Yeah, that looks like the.
That is the inaugural flight.
Yeah.
So how do you use that picture to lie to Garbo youths in the mountain Kenya that our president of UDA has just left? Left where? Danganya wa ushenzi. Not Matsanga. I went to school. I went to a very good university in UK, which is well recognized. Hey, look at that picture. Bring it back again. Wacha watu waone. The lies of Ruto and the UDA Majimaji rebellion. That picture, Ruto is not using Kenya Airways, and he says he bottom up. We have captured Mudavadi in Dubai with Hussein Namwamba and the big stomach pumpkin man called Dindi Nyoro. Dindi, David Ndi. Walifikiri watatembea. Mi mwenyewe naondoka. Next week we meet in London. Mutaniona. Hata demonstration inaweza kuwa kali hapo nje. You know?
So this photo was being shared by people allied to
the no, it is even in the newspaper. The Star newspaper has just apologized.
Okay. Because that seems to be an old photo.
No, they used it and they said Ruto has just left.
Okay.
And the old supporters with their fake accounts, a man called Itumbi, stupid. That's why they break legs of people. I'm not part of them.
I see. Yeah.
Can't you see this photograph, Jamen?
Yes.
Why should people lie to get votes? Is this a man you can give your country, a good country, in the Great Lakes region? You give to this thief who lies on everything, including his own shadow.
But anyway, Kenyans know that.
They don't know.
Kenya Airways don't even fly today.
Madam, they don't know.
Okay, but a few of them.
They don't know.
So I'm seeing even for the people who are posting this, the Kenyans who know are correcting them, are telling them, the flight to.
No, but do you know who did it? Mm-hmm. Before I came here, I said you have lied. Mm-hmm. Now the Star saw that my thing ran so fast here. Mm-hmm. Then they went back and said, sorry, we used the wrong photo. But the Star editor, whom they have bought, and Talam has put somebody there in the Star, that put the picture that the deputy president is going there. If the deputy president is going, why is he hiding? He might not even have gone. Hey! Hey! Why? Otukwi emame. A restrictive visa is dangerous. You hear that?
This photo is from 31st October 2018.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is not a photo where the deputy president went today. Why do we behave stupidly?
And diplomatically, if the protocol was to be observed, the DP was supposed to be received by Kamala Harris, the deputy president of, of the US, but maybe because this trip is not government related, so yeah.
Look,
But this photo is from
Madam,
yeah.
the government, Mr. Ruto brought a lot of reasons why he wants to go. I don't want to disclose one reason here. Let me just keep quiet. But that is okay. God is for all of us. We wish you good luck, Mr. Deputy, half Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, because powers have been stripped. But me, my anger is with people like those who don't know. They didn't see more. And Amama, this guy, what is his name? The small boy who comes from Wesonga's place.
You mean Ababu Namwamba?
Ababu Namwamba. Those are the people who have been using Uhuru Kenyatta, stepping on Uhuru Kenyatta, using him to boost their energies and build houses, mansions, through corruption tenders, bringing people, killing Sergeant Kamei. Those guns killed that younger man who's crying for him.
Very well.
And as if, okay, if they have gone through Dubai with Ruto, then they are being kept in a small, this is the ordinary airport at Dubai. Have you seen the other airport? That's Dubai. The launch at Dubai. It means Mudavadi is useless. He's a shoe boy. If he was the equal partner, Ruto would have said, we go together here. Because Mudavadi has a diplomatic passport. Yes. Namwamba has a diplomatic passport. Yes. But they are not on the airline. They have not been routed as diplomats. They have been given restrictive visas. That does not allow you to stay in the diplomatic lounge of the Emirates, of the government of Emirates. So you have to stay in the local lounge. That one, I've been in that place several times on my way to Her Majesty's Kingdom.
All right. So those photos, I think, for those who are trying to use them to show that the red carpet was rolled for the deputy president, even the Star has corrected and has rightfully said that those photos were taken in 2018. So perhaps that is a flop for the people who perhaps wanted to use that.
A flop to Majimaji rebellion, rebellious guys.
Right.
From now onwards, call them Wesonga Majimaji diehards, Tanga Majimaji rebellion.
So as we conclude the show, Daniel Wesonga, I know we were trying to look at some of the root causes of this, conflict between Ukraine and Russia. And one key of those problems is because Russia has been accused of supporting two breakaway, states that have formed their own. They call themselves the People's Republic. That is Donetsk and also Luhansk, part of the eastern part of Ukraine, but that Russia has been supporting, among other issues. So,
were you in Germany or something, Miriam? Donetsk, what? Donetsk and Luhansk. Okay, I am learning some Russian here.
Donetsk and Luhansk.
Donetsk and Luhansk.
They are found in the eastern part of Ukraine.
And Donetsk.
Yeah, they're secessionists,
in the
states,
eastern part,
but
yes.
they're still under Ukraine.
But they have rebelled.
Yes, and Russia has been supporting them. In fact, Russia
giving them arms. In fact, they are there already.
Equipping them. And Russia is using those places right now to attack Ukraine. So that also has been a bone of contention and reasons as to why that has brought this conflict to where it is here today. And so as we perhaps go back there and conclude, the conversation this afternoon, I don't know, what are your thoughts in some of these things and what is happening there in Ukraine?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, whatever is happening in Ukraine is similar to whatever has always happened between Taiwan and China. You realize at one point in time, these were not separate states, but they were actually a homogeneous state. Maybe the China and mainland China and the islands of Hong Kong and Taiwan. And you will get also Ukraine was actually the capital city of the old Russia. So these are people who have been together for over a period of even 100 years, working together, doing things together. So you can never distinguish Ukrainians from Russians. And there's something which makes me feel that it is much easier for actually Russia to be able to reclaim Ukraine than maybe China even to reclaim Hong Kong or maybe Taiwan. Why? Because when you look at Ukraine, these are people who speak the same language as Russians. These are people who are not influenced by the Western cultures. When you look at the names of the Ukrainians and the names of Russians, they're actually the same people, These are just people who have been divided by the boundaries. So, and when you look at maybe China and Taiwan, or maybe China and Hong Kong, you realize that the Taiwanese and the people of Hong Kong were colonized by the British, and therefore when you go to Hong Kong, you find people who are speaking very fluent British English. You might think that they are just from London. So the culture hitch there between Hong Kong and mainland China, or maybe Taiwan and mainland China, does not exist between Ukraine and Russia, and therefore it makes it easy. And also, when you look at even the economic power of Ukraine vis-a-vis that of Russia, for Ukraine is just a drop in the ocean. Russia is actually more than 100 times bigger than Ukraine in terms of economic power, military power, and also even in terms of population and just the growth and all the other metrics that you can be able to measure a nation. So to me, I'm only worried that at the end of it all, Russia might be able to reclaim Ukraine. But this will open up Pandora's box. It will mean that it will give Vladimir Putin the courage and the notion that he actually can be able to bring back the old Russian states and be able to reclaim all these countries that were part of the USSR. Because once he gets back Ukraine, the next thing he will be thinking about maybe getting Uzbekistan or maybe any other former Russian state country that actually got its independence and monotony some years back when the Russian Empire or the USSR collapsed. So to me, I believe, Miriam, that is what is going to happen. But all in all, these are same people. These are people who have the same language, same cultures, and that is why we have the people who are for the succession and people who are against actually the succession. So if Russia will be actually successful in this, then we might see a scenario where part of Ukraine or maybe the entire Ukraine could be annexed by Russia. But all in all, Miriam, Russia has been actually also trying to expand its influence in Africa, but it has been doing it for a good reasons. It has been trying to reinforce areas in Africa where we have insecurity by actually sending its troops and arms to ensure that kind of volatility and mayhem is actually done away with. Unlike other Western powers and scrupulous Western powers, which have been sponsoring violence in Africa and in that return, maybe stealing resources. Russia seems not to be more focused in resources because Russia did not colonize Africa simply because much of the raw materials, much of the labor that USSR needed by that time were actually being found in Russia. Today, Russia is the biggest supplier of oil globally and is actually doing well in terms of resource addition and holding together its own economy. Despite the fact that it has been having an acrimonious relationship with the West, Russia has been able to stand out. So these are partner who is coming to Africa with an open heart, and we should be very, very careful not to ruffle feathers with Russia because it has its own way of handling things. Let it be able to handle its own things with the Ukraine because they're just maybe these are brawled between a parent maybe and a kid who has thought maybe they have grown out of age and they think they can be independent in their own lives. So you cannot be able to go there as a neighbor to be able to maybe influence the kid or maybe in this kind of mayhem. Why is it, like I asked, why is it that when the US goes to Afghanistan, they call it liberation or intervention? Why is it when it goes to Iraq, they call it intervention or liberation? And when Russia is going to Ukraine, then they're calling it a war. They're saying that Russia is going to annex Ukraine and they're going to do this and that. So let us be fair-minded, Miriam, in doing this. Let Africa know that
Ukraine saying they're going to denazify. There's no evidence that Ukraine has been acting as an as the Nazis, because those are the grounds. And also, Russia annexed Crimea, and now it's supporting some rebel states that have seceded from Ukraine. So some of these grounds by Russia are really unfounded, if we were to advance the argument.
Very, very true, Miriam. And of course, even Russia has been saying that Ukraine has been on war with its own citizens. For example, look at whatever Belarus has been doing to its own citizens. So, to me, I believe Russia being the motherland of Ukraine, being the bigger.
The talks that have been suggested, Russia is saying they should take place in Belarus. Shevchenko, I think, is the president of Belarus, is an ally of Russia, and we saw. In fact, I wanted to thank you for bringing up that point. Remember last year when we had that immigration stalemate between Belarus and Poland's, border, because there's an agreement within the EU that for controlling immigration, and Belarus decided to not play its part in trying to contain the migrants from wherever they were coming from, and just opened its borders and have them, access Poland. Remember that was a crisis last year. So Belarus acts on the beckon of Russia. It is an ally of Russia, and it's being used as a vantage point in the fight against Ukraine right now. So that is just Russia.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, Miriam, maybe let's just give an example. If the US was to have one of its states, let's say Georgia or even California, want to succeed and be able to become an autonomous state, I don't know how President Biden is going to take that, but I believe he will not take the matter lightly, and he might not allow the state to succeed, and they might even sabotage the efforts through the CIA and other intelligence agencies of maybe one single state having such a thought of seceding from the Union. So to me, I believe let Russia do whatever it is doing. Let it have its own freedom in maybe charting its own future. Because at the end of the day, the collapse of the Soviet Union was actually perpetuated by the West, and therefore that is why the West does not want Russia to be able to amalgamate and reclaim its former states. And to me, I believe whatever voices of resent that are there in Ukraine, there are reason enough to tell you that we actually have people in Ukraine who feel that going back to the old union with Russia, the mainland Russia, is actually a viable idea. Why would even Belarus be partnering with Russia at this particular moment in more specific matters? It is because it feels perhaps it is still insufficient in doing so. And like I said, Miriam, these are people who are born by the same culture. These are people who are born by the same language. These are people, even the climatic condition between these countries, actually the same. So to me, I believe at the end of the day, this is an internal matter between Russia and Ukraine. But what they have to do is to stop the war and be able to go to the boardroom and discuss amicably and come up to a solution that will ensure there is no more loss of lives, there is no more heightened tensions, and trade and industry is able to continue across Europe and the rest of the world. I submit.
I agree. They need to come to the table, Doc. Conclude the show for us.
Thank you very much. First of all, to our viewers, we want to correct, it is not Dubai, but it is Istanbul. They all look Arabic, and the airport, the design must have been picked from, the one of Dubai must have been picked from Istanbul.
Oh, the photos that were taken?
Yes, it is in Istanbul.
Okay, in Turkey.
In Turkey, and route also is in Istanbul.
So they're waiting to connect with the next.
To connect to,
okay.
Yeah, through Turkish airline. They didn't use Kenya Airways, but they are connecting after meeting Harun Ayadin. More money. So when coming back, customs Meanwhile, my journey towards Chatham House begins next week. I'll be next week, the other week. Is it this week? It's 4th. Yes, next week, Friday, 6th, 4th. We shall be preparing for you, Ruto, to arrive. We have an open lecture on the handshake. I've organized an open lecture for the handshake on 11th to counter the propaganda of Mr. Ruto and a group. Why the handshake is suitable for Africa. Can we do a rehearsal here? Not now.
Not today.
No. I'm only saying, Miriam, one of these days before we go, can we do a rehearsal? So that, meanwhile, I'm going to go back home and enjoy my football. Tonight is Liverpool versus Wesonga. Are you happy? Versus the Russians. You know Chelsea is Russia. So today, yes.
He has handed over some of his
yes,
powers or something like that.
Yes, he has handed over.
Abramovich, is it?
Doc,
yes.
This conflict has really put me in a tight corner because, you know, personally, actually, I've been learning Russian. I'm actually fluent in writing and reading and all that. So now when we are having this kind of conflict, you really wonder, where are you going to side with? Who are you going to side with? Because Russians are not bad people. If you go to those people who have been to Moscow, they'll tell you there is no racism in Russia.
So you are thinking of going to Moscow?
Maybe one day, Doctor.
You should have asked me. I have my friends. They would have connected you for the scholarship.
Yes, because in Russia we do not have racism. I was just reading a certain.
Who tells you? If you think of Russia and you are going to Russia and you say there is no racism, you are dead. If the Russians find you on a train station, you have never been there. Don't even try. No, you better have come for private lessons.
I'll come, Dr. Masanga. Sure.
You want to die.
All the best to your team tonight.
Yeah, they wish me that. What time is the match starting? I haven't seen it properly. I think it's about 10 o'clock of this time, which is 7 o'clock in Wembley. I'll be there.
Okay.
Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you, all of you, for listening to us. We have said, those words that we have said are true and nothing but the truth. The deputy president is visiting these countries as a half president. That deputy is not a full man. The mandate of his party was removed. He's partyless. So Kenya has made history again for having removed a deputy president through the party and still remains the deputy president. What a constitution. This station is for Africa, by Africa, with Africa. We are tired.
All right. We'll see you.